On a cold, misty night, I and a few friends from campus decided to explore an old, dilapidated orphanage hidden deep within the wilderness, far from the bustling city. Stories of its mystique had circulated among us, and curiosity finally led us there. We arrived around 10 p.m. The once grand building now loomed ominously under the dim moonlight, surrounded by towering old trees that added to the eerie atmosphere. As we stepped into the orphanage grounds, the air grew colder and darker. David, Sarah, and Lisa cautiously began our journey. Our flashlights became the only source of light in the darkness. The tension was palpable, but we reassured each other it was just a regular adventure. Entering through the decayed front door of the main building, we found rooms filled with decaying furniture. Tables, chairs, and old toys. All was eerily silent except for our echoing footsteps through the empty corridors. Suddenly, I sensed something amiss, a feeling of being watched from the darkness. I glanced towards a cracked window, and a fleeting shadow darted past. My heart raced, but I chose not to alarm my friends. I didn't want them to worry. We proceeded upstairs, finding neglected bedrooms with scattered beds, bearing silent witness to a bleak past. David approached a cracked mirror hanging on the wall, trying to discern his distorted reflection. Abruptly, the mirror shattered loudly, sending us into total darkness. As we fumbled to relight our flashlights, I caught sight of the shadowy figure again, this time closer than before. I nearly screamed, but then a voice came from behind us. "It's time for you to leave." The voice was cold and expressionless. We turned to see an old woman with flowing white hair, clad in a damp white gown. Her face bore no expression, only sharp eyes fixed upon us. "Are you a caretaker here?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling. The woman didn't reply, just continued staring with an increasingly unsettling gaze. A bone-chilling cold settled within me. Something was not right here. Without a word, we began cautiously backing towards the exit. Suddenly, the atmosphere turned frigid. Our flashlights died out, plunging us into total darkness once more. I heard footsteps approaching, faster and closer. We ran towards the exit carefully, but as I glanced back, I saw the shadowy figure standing at the end of the hallway, watching us depart. We made it out of the orphanage and sprinted to the car without looking back. Inside, David spoke up. "You saw that too, right?" We all nodded wordlessly, still shaken by our recent experience. A lingering dread persisted within me, memories of the mysterious old woman's face and the shadow that lurked in the darkness. The journey home felt unusually long, though it was only a few kilometers. To this day, I can't forget that night at the abandoned orphanage. Its darkness, strange noises, and inexplicable shadows continue to haunt me. What did we really encounter there? After a terrifying night at the abandoned orphanage, we all felt distressed and fearful. We tried to put the incident behind us, but curiosity about what really happened kept me restless. The next day, I decided to dig deeper into the place. I started by searching for information online. Despite many supernatural stories circulating, I found some articles and old news pieces that shed light on the orphanage's background. In a newspaper archive, I came across an article about the same orphanage. It turned out that it was once run by a woman named Mother Emma, known for her strict caregiving. However, in the late 1980s, a series of tragic events occurred there. Some children went missing mysteriously and others were found in deplorable conditions. The orphanage was eventually shut down and abandoned. Stories about the mysterious Mother Emma surfaced in another article. It was said that she was never seen again after the orphanage closed. Some believed she still lingered there, watching over what remained of the orphanage. Armed with this information, I convinced David, Sarah, and Lisa to return to the orphanage. We agreed that we needed to investigate further and perhaps find answers to the events of that night. We arrived at the orphanage during daylight, this time equipped with more gear, including cameras and recording devices. The daytime atmosphere was less eerie, but tension still hung in the air. We decided to explore the basement that we had skipped earlier. Based on the article I read, there were rumors of strange occurrences there. We descended into the dark, musty basement. The air was filled with the smell of mold and rotting wood. We turned on flashlights and cameras, starting to record and take photos. The room was full of old items, but one thing caught our attention. A small locked room with a sign outside that read, "Family Room." Sarah cautiously tried to open the door. After a few minutes, it creaked open. Inside, we found scattered documents and old books on the floor. Amidst the pile, there was a very old-looking notebook. I opened it and read through some initial pages. The notes were written by Mother Emma herself, revealing strict policies and extremely harsh teaching methods. However, some entries also showed signs of increasing madness, with random writings and unsettling sketches. As we delved deeper, we heard strange noises outside the room. They sounded like indistinct whispers. We exchanged nervous glances. I decided to investigate the source of the sound. As I stepped out, I glimpsed the same dark shadow we had seen the night before. It vanished as soon as I saw it, but it felt closer than ever. We returned to the car with the documents we had found, and I contacted a local researcher who might help uncover more about the orphanage's history and Mother Emma. The researcher confirmed that many of the stories we found in the notes were part of a dark and not fully disclosed history. With all this information, we began to realize that what we experienced might have been manifestations of the lingering trauma and chaos that had occurred in the orphanage. Whatever happened on the night we visited, the black shadow and the old woman we saw may have been part of a mysterious force still bound to the place. That night at the abandoned orphanage left a deep impression on us. Though our curiosity unearthed some truths, we also learned that not all mysteries need to be solved. Sometimes, it's better to let the past remain where it is and keep a distance from things we cannot fully understand.